success.
What's up? Welcome to your favorite podcast, the Ain't Shit Show, the home of booze, views, and unpopular opinions. I want to thank y'all for joining us for episode 119.
Yeah.
My name is Fresh, and I'm one half of the pod guys. And with me, I had the best man in all the podcast land, my right-hand man, Mr. B. Hill.
Yeah. What up?
What's poppin'? How are you?
Doing all right. How about you?
I'm doing good. Exhausted. Work has just been crazy. The past 2 weeks, actually.
Is it COVID related?
Racism related.
Yeah.
You know the type of work I do. And everything going on is a hotbed of opinions and people feeling entitled to express their opinions regardless of where they are or regardless of how they feel about what the consequences may be to that in the workplace. So
that's interesting because I actually ran into that myself this past Friday or last week, actually.
Yeah. So same. So last week is when it started. So I
was actually a culprit of it.
You got in trouble.
No, I didn't. But I emailed the CEO of my company and told him why Juneteenth should be a national holiday or a holiday celebrated by my company and shit.
Do tell.
It was nasty.
What did that go?
Yeah.
How did it go?
Well, we didn't get off, but I sent it on Tuesday. Just because I seen it was either Tuesday or Wednesday.
Tuesday must have been the day, but I'll go back to why.
Tuesday or Wednesday. Last Tuesday, either Tuesday or Wednesday. But nah, so like my VP is a black man. He's a cool black man, but he's in an executive position, right? And then we have another VP in an executive position that's a black man. No black women, but nonetheless, it's two black executives in a 140 employee company and shit, right? So
no, that's pretty good because we don't have
it's
any.
Actually very good. But this shit was just on my heart, like, you know what I'm saying? And because one dude on my team that I work with, like one of my counterparts is, he is a member of like a CEC or some shit like that, where it's, basically like a advisory, how like workforce advisory councils type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, one of those where he works in like close quarters with the CEO or whatever. So I sent him like we text because he's an asshole, but he's a smart, good, like he means well. He's just an asshole by nature because he just thinks he's smarter than everybody. Mm-hmm. So, but like recently I've been schooling him prior to all this fucking rioting and shit like that. Like over the past like 2 years, I've just been schooling him and giving him a lot of game in terms of like race relations and social injustice and racial injustice and, all the things that we always talk about. Mm-hmm. But long story short, so I sent it to him. He was like, bro, I'll be honest. He was like, I'm on vacation all week. So he was like, the way, the CEO is, he was like, he's super receptive to anything that people bring to his way. He was like, so I ain't gonna be able to check that email. He's like, I was check with, my boss, the executive. He was like, and then
he said he ain't gonna be able to check that email.
Nah, but he told me to send it though.
Oh,
like,
okay.
He was like, he just hasn't been, he won't check it. He didn't have his laptop or his computer.
Got
you know what I'm saying? Like,
you.
he was on vacation. You know what I'm saying? Which you got to do in claims when I work in claims. So you got to take a break because that shit never stops.
Yeah.
But, anyway, so I ended up like drafting the email. Like I still sent it to the white boy first, and then I told him I sent it, and then he told me like all that I just told you. But then so I was like, fuck it. So I sent it to I thought about it over the course of the day, and my thoughts developed even more. So I beefed up the already fire ass email. Like it was like a fucking presentation. You know what I'm saying? Like for real. Like I put like hyperlinks to other companies that are, celebrating the holiday. Like all the major companies like Target and, all the shit that's been going on as of, past couple of weeks or whatever. And then in addition to like giving him history about Juneteenth. But then I beefed it up more, like I said, because I sent it to my boss directly and was like, yo, this is how I'm feeling. He was like, I support you. He said, copy me on that shit. And I was like, all right, you know what I'm saying? So I sent it to him, you know what I'm saying? I sent it to him like early that morning, and then the CEO called my boss and they were talking, and then he was like, he texted me like, yo, that shit went to the CEO of my company. We're a sister company. It's a parent company. They have another CEO. So that my CEO sent it to the head CEO, right? So of the parent company and shit. And then like shortly thereafter, a nice drafted email came, you know what I'm saying, with the CEOs and shit like that. And the CEO actually called me, you know, we talked like for 30 minutes. The shit was crazy. Like that's why I enjoy working for a small company, because I talked to the CEO and I'm kicking like mega shit in terms of like, I'm giving him a podcast in like 30 minutes, you know what I'm saying, of like all the racial disparities and the racial injustice, social injustice, and everything that we always fucking talk about. But I'm telling this to a motherfucker who makes $700,000 a year, probably, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Or I don't know how much, but a lot of money, you know what
probably
I'm saying?
More than that with bonuses.
For sure.
Cause I know my niggas make money. So I know your niggas make money off
but
insurance.
We're a smaller company, but still we're super profitable. Yeah. But either way, but he's still the CEO is what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, and you know, he's just, and I can tell like I'm giving him, you know, a lot of, you know, enlightenment. I can tell like he's one of the type of people that's just like, they're smart. So they're going to understand, you know, just intelligent conversation, you know what I'm saying? Where you can pose it and make it digestible and shit. And it was actually really wild. I felt really crazy and I felt really good and empowered, because like the next day we had a like all hands meeting and shit, obviously via teleconference and shit. And he mentioned like Juneteenth. He was like, for all those celebrating Juneteenth, I want to, you know, send my acknowledgments for that day, because and I could tell he wanted to be like, because if you think about it, when a white man tell you like happy Juneteenth, it's kind of weird. Like happy I freed you type shit, like you were free this day. You know, it's just like, it's like a weird thing. So I guess he thought that too. So he was like, for anybody celebrating Juneteenth, because my boss ended up telling him like, yeah, I'm taking off this day tomorrow too. Because my boss had already taken the day off. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He, you know, like he was doing that shit, just so happened. And then it just kind of aligned. It was actually really dope. Like, because I had never really stepped out, and like a couple of people that I know in the company, like black people that I know in the company, were like, yo, that's crazy. Did you help like do that? And I was like, yeah. And they was like, yo, that's super big. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so that shit made me feel wild and great and all that shit, because it was a nasty, nice email. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was no way, like, I was quoting mad shit. Like, I was like, how do we celebrate July 4th when we, you know, stole land from indigenous people, but, you know, we don't celebrate the, you know, the freedom of slaves that were in, you know, in bondage and all that shit. And like, the comparisons between July 4th and Juneteenth and shit like that. Like, we're celebrating independence, but not celebrating independence. You know what I'm saying? For this country's greatest sin. Yeah. It was fucking fire. And so I was nervous, but my wife was like, well, shit, fuck it.
You know what? Yeah. We haven't talked a lot this week, and, it's very interesting because we have basically kind of been on the same energy or synergy, because Tuesday as well, you said it happened Tuesday or Wednesday, but I have been, so some African American coworkers of mine, we've been talking about the fact that my company had not said anything about, you know, what's going on right now and Black Lives Matter and, you know, the movement and all of this. And, you know, they're in HR. And so they were going to say something. And I said I wanted to say something, but the only thing about me saying something, I know how white people think. And per my role, now I speak up for Black people. Don't get it twisted. However, I have to use my words very wisely, and I have to make sure that I come off as factual and not emotional or biased, just based on my role. And let me remind you guys, I work at a 93% white company and 90% white male. Okay. So just based on that, you know that it's a lot of red hats out there. You know what I'm saying? And so we were thinking about, like, every company has said something. Like, you gotta say something. So on Tuesday, I had my one-on-one with my manager, and I was just like, you know what? Regardless, like, of what your role is, it's imperative that you speak up, because your role is all about equality. that's what my role is about equality and fairness in the equal workplace and making sure you're not in a scummy ass workplace. So I had a conversation with my manager and I was just like, you know, you guys I wanted to know when the company is going to say something about what's going on and their stance and things like that. And, you know, I basically told her that, you know, you're black, so I have this thing about black and African American. I don't know why, but in the workplace, I prefer the term African American because I don't like people in the workplace saying like black people for some reason. Like it hits me wrong. Like I don't like
I don't like African American. Like I hate fucking that.
So I think of it for me, like I think of it as like almost corporate speak. So I use black a lot in my personal life, but in corporate America, I use African American because I feel like that is the proper way to address. Because well, even for me, if I'm talking about white people, I say Caucasian.
See, I say white
in the workplace. So I use the terms Caucasian. But I don't know, like when they say black to me, the way they say it don't hit me right. It be like, you black people, like it, you know, I think I don't know, the negative connotations that I feel like they have with black. And for some reason, I can't explain it, but I feel like in the workplace, I prefer you say African American. Like, I don't know. Anyway, that's my hang up. That's my hang up.
I don't like African American. I'd rather you call me black.
Yeah, nah, like that's not how I ride. But I say, you know, your African American employees need to feel like they're being supported and XYZ, and you know how white people do. And she went on into, yeah, you know, I hear you. We're just trying to be sensitive about the way we deliver that message, and I don't know if communication is going to go out. And you know, all of these things. I don't want it to be tone deaf, and you know, based on our business, we really need the support of the police. And so I had to stop her right there. And I said, it's like, God damn it. Yeah.
Now you tested my gangster. Like,
exactly.
Now I got to fucking, like, now
break it down to you.
Now I become black. I'm not an African American.
Exactly.
So here's a black person. And that noose that was in Bubba Wallace, did you hear that shit? That they're saying that it wasn't a noose. It was just a piece of rope that was conveniently tied like that for a course of 8 months. How do you know that it was tied like that, like a noose? Anyway. Okay.
And so if you had evidence of that, you would have shown that. Like you would have shown pictures of this shit being there forever. Or video or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, like where's the evidence to say like, oh yeah, this was the news for 8 months? Like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, yeah. So my point is like, it's not about the police. Like now I have to like, now you've insulted my intelligence is pretty much like basically what you're saying.
Yeah, like, basically. And I said,
I know you read all the fucking shit in the world that recently is discussed. Why the shit ain't about the fucking flag. You know what I mean? Like, but let me tell you.
Exactly. So I told her, I said, well, the same way you need the police, you need your African American employees who perform your jobs every day.
Right.
And she was like, no, Sean, I didn't mean it that way. No. Well, all I took it as is how you said it.
What other way was it supposed to be interpreted?
She was like, I just don't want it to be tone deaf. So I took that as an opportunity.
Well, you were tone deaf. What the fuck?
Facts. I used that as an opportunity to say, the reason you guys fear, and it's already been 3-4 weeks since things been going on, you haven't said anything. I said, the reason you guys fear would be tone deaf is because you have no African American leadership. I said, there's only one director in this company that's African American. And that's where the buck stops. And there may be 5 African-American people managers, meaning actually, managing people. And then there may be 4 or 5 African-American managers that manage programs like I do. But still, at the leadership position, if we're talking about director and above, it's only one. There are no executives at all. And I said, the reason you fear is tone deaf is because you have no African American leadership to look over things and to provide opinions that are different from your own.
Yep.
And she was like, I told her it was only one African-American director. And she said, wait, are you sure? How do you know that? Bitch, what you mean?
Like,
I got
what?
eyes. First of all, the company that I work for is it's literally the smallest company that I've worked for. It's about 900 employees. About 300 are based in Atlanta and the rest are all over. And she was like, wait, how do you know that? Like, how dare you? And I said, well, part of my job is understanding the company that I work for and the makeup of that. I said, so one of the first things I did when I came here was look at the makeup of the company, ethnicity wise, age wise, gender wise,
demographically,
all of that. Looked at all of that. And she was like, well, are you sure? I thought such and such was a director. No, you didn't think that bitch was a director because that bitch reports to a director. And ain't no director on director relationship structures at my company. And so she was like, oh, okay. Like, all right. Yeah, we'll take that information. I'll take that information. And, this was a whole 45-minute conversation, but she basically said, I'll take that information and I will tell them, your thoughts on that. And hopefully, we can send something out. So by the end of the day, I don't want to take credit for that. I don't know if something was in the works
take credit for you
prior to me saying something.
Fuck that.
But at 5:30 that day, granted, like most people be out at 4:00. I can't talk since COVID when people are working from home, but normally in the physical sense of my company, like by 4:15, niggas is out. You know what I mean? So they sent it out at 5:30, which made me raise an eyebrow and say, y'all wanted it to go. Why wasn't nobody there? You know what I'm saying? Now I will give them credit. For them, it was a very good email. It went out as an email and it went out as a intranet article, right?
Oh yeah.
So it was both and it was there. And, they sent it out and, I had to give them props where props were due. It could be because they have some new communications people in that come from different places and more diverse places. But, they sent out a great email and so that was great, right? So after that, you can comment under, articles and stuff like that on your internet. So there were a couple, all lives matter, right?
Wow. I get it, but it's having to deal with that shit. It's like, oh, fuck.
Exactly. So I had taken off. I had decided the week before. I was like, you know what? I'm taking off Juneteenth. You know what I'm saying? It's we're working from home. So I could have been like, fuck it. I'm just not going to do no work on Juneteenth. But we get flow on holidays and I wanted to make a point. Same. So, you know what I'm saying? I took off Juneteenth. In the comments, you're not required, but you can't say why you're taking off. And I put Juneteenth in all capital letters in that bitch. And, I took off on Friday. Shout out to my family. My family was in town anyway, but I was still going to work. But come All Lives Matter and all these other things, it caused individuals to act out. So I was consumed with a lot of racism last week and this week because we're still investigating a lot of it. And like some crazy things have happened. Like I don't even want to mention, exactly what crazy things have happened. But I think that it has been eye-opening for the company that I work for to understand how many races.
Shit on their nose, huh? Shit sticking out. Shit dead on your nose.
How many races you actually have working for you. Exactly.
That's why the fuck we were trying to goddamn. That's why I ain't want to say shit.
Exactly. And I knew that's why they didn't want to say shit.
Yeah.
They know the makeup of their company. I might know the demographics, but they know the hearts. Oh, yeah, they know the hearts of who they employ in the demographic.
Shit.
Bruh. So I've been investigating a lot of things. So what makes that so interesting is that all of these new racist things that have come up, normally I conduct my own investigations and I solicit help how I see fit. Like I might have to use HR, use internal audit or, operations or something to conduct my investigations. However, that's my job. I conduct investigations. But with these race things that are come up, it's a team now. It's me, my manager, and the director of HR. So now we're doing all these investigations together. And because it's COVID, we're doing everything virtually, right?
I'm so tired of virtual shit. I swear to God.
I'm really not tired of virtual shit when it comes to work. Like, honestly, bro, like on some real shit, I could really care less about going back to work again. Like, at the current company that I work for. Company that I work for. But also my life is different from yours, so you might need a break.
Yeah.
But, it's interesting because we've had all of these race conversations. When I tell you over the past 5-6 working days, I've had like back-to-back interviews, meetings with the three of us, talking to individuals, understanding why the events took place, why individuals feel like saying the things that they say. Like, it's just been crazy. However, for me, I know that's how shit is. It wasn't eye-opening for me, but for them, these two, white people that are on the other side of this Zoom, they're like, wow, like, I didn't know.
And that's so crazy.
I didn't know.
That's so crazy to say that, because I had a conversation with my guy, one of my homeboys that I work with. And it wasn't, he's Black Lives Matter, but he was like, I just don't know what to do in terms of, he was like, what I do. He's like, I've been turning people. It's funny. He said, he was like, I've been turning people. Like, I've turned 3 people in the past,
turned them.
For real.
He turning them out racially. The racial turnout.
It's education. He was like, it's an educational thing. He was like, people can kind of write off the George Floyd shit, but when it's somebody that you've worked with, that you are, cube mates with, that you've had an interaction with, that that, not even that you love necessarily, but like that you care for, right? Cause, his homeboy is in a similar position. I think they build office furniture, and they had, like a webinar with, maybe 90 people, and they, it was, fistful of black folks. And he was like that. And he wanted to know if there was any accounts of racism that they can go for. And every black person, albeit 5 or however many it was, not a lot in comparison, had racism stories that they've been, and like, so then it hits home again, because like, while you don't know George Floyd, so you don't have to, you don't have the emotional attachment. But if fresh from a couple blocks down, and we went to lunch together last week and was talking about all type of funny shit and having a good time, or we went out with drinks and shit and we were having a ball, like, that makes it more real. Like, oh shit, that could have been her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's just the proof. Like, and some things, unfortunately, that's just the education. Like, some things just, you can't relate, and you don't have to deal with that reality until that reality is your reality. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what it is for those people. Well, that's exactly, it's not think, that's what it is for those people. The shit is on their nose now. You know what I mean?
What's interesting? I think about other things that are going on in the world, right? Like, I think about like starving kids in Ethiopia.
Nigga, it's still kids in the fucking thing. The Mexican kids are still locked up.
Yes.
In down the
shit
street
like
somewhere.
That, right? So
they in Atlanta or some shit like that.
it's one case of, it's not in my face. Like, I try to, not like I try to justify how they think. My whole thing about people is I'm always trying to understand how people think, right? Like, how did you come to this conclusion, right? So, like, this, like, racism and, police brutality and just all the things that are going on, I just find it very hard to believe that you have no awareness or compassion about what niggas been talking about for 500 years.
Right.
Like, how is that so far out of your realm? So I try to put myself in their position and think about things I don't necessarily think about on a regular basis. But again, these are not things that are like something where I can debate it Or, cause like we said on a previous show, like, it's just a human decency type thing. Like when I hear about these kids in cages, like that broke my heart when I first heard about it. And then it was another news story. Not that it still doesn't break my heart, but it's not on the front of my mind. Like it's not in the front of my mind, which is super unfortunate. But there are other things that are going on, like human trafficking and shit like that. Like that shit always blows my mind. Like there are people out here literally being abducted and taken into like the sex trade and like labor and shit like that, like in 2020. I just don't understand how a decent person, period, can be okay with the shit that they see. Like this is in your face.
Right.
So you have to, as a white person in America, I feel like, and I would love for somebody to write into the show or contact me to let me know your thoughts, but I just don't understand how you can turn your head or make Black Lives Matter anti-police or anti-white or anti.
I literally said the same shit to do today. I was like, bro, it's about like, all right, cool. Once you're faced with so some people are just steeped in fact, right? So if it comes to a point now that if I'm able to pinpoint 10 things that white people have done to black people, and it's irrefutable evidence to show the demonic nature of this particular person and how racism has affected and oppressed all my people for 400 years. If I can tell you that with 10 specific examples, 10, not
off
even
the top
100,
though, off the top of your head
off
though,
the top. And if I can tell you that and I can present that to you where you can I mean, for lack of a better term, on an elementary level, because some people just you have to be taught clearly because this shit has been apparent. But like, if I can tell you that and you still have opt out of the fact of what I'm telling you is irrefutable and that racism exists and you choose to still be like ignorant to it, oblivious to it, don't give a fuck, or even, fall more into it, then you should be locked up. Like I think like people like that should be locked up. That's a crime. That's ignorance. Like you shouldn't be allowed to be around people. You made a
concerted effort. Like this is not something that just like, weird. Oh, it doesn't impact me. Da, 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 da. I feel like in the past, I'm going to say this, in the past 10, 15 years during the social media age, where literally almost everybody under the age of 60 has some form of social media.
That's a fact.
And outside of broadcast news, you're being blissfully ignorant and purposely ignorant.
Facts.
So don't act like you don't know. Just stand up in your shit and say, I don't care.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
I don't know if you understand when I say I can respect that. I can respect that because I know who you are.
Yeah.
I know what to look out for. I understand. Like, all right, you don't give a fuck. Cool, bet. At least I know.
I'd much rather those people than like the
covert based,
like the
racist.
But people. Like, but I'm not.
Nah, ooh, it's no but.
The buts, I'm cool. Nah. I'd much rather you be like, nah, fuck that shit. I mean, I feel how I feel. Like, I feel like y'all are inferior. You know what I mean? You might get punched in your face, but at the same time, man, I can't, like, I'll respectfully punch you in your shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
respectfully punch you in your shit. Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
this,
but I would
this
like,
fist is with all due respect,
like, that shit is fuck
motherfucker.
shit. You know what I'm saying? That shit is way more fuck shit than the other shit.
Did I tell you about the, chick I used to work with that hit me up to walk with her in the march?
No.
Yo, I get a LinkedIn from this chick I used to work with when I first moved. Of course. When I first moved to Atlanta. First of all, let me tell y'all something. I probably haven't worked with a black person on my literal team in at least 5 years. In Atlanta, though. In Atlanta. In the blackest place ever. So anyway, I got I don't want to call it DM. I don't know what it's called on, LinkedIn, but an inbox on LinkedIn, and take into consideration that, this is somebody that I worked with when I got laid off. And so we all were laid off together. Her, myself, everybody on the team was laid off except for one person. So when we all got laid off, she's blonde hair, blue eyes. She probably got another job in like 6 weeks, 2 months, right? Now, I'm not saying she's not, she doesn't have a good work ethic. She's actually one of those like brown nosers, whatever you say, like, everything is great. What do you need? Da, 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 da. You know what I'm saying? And she's very thorough. Like, she always ain't nothing about to fall out of her checklist. You know what I'm saying? Right. So when she got her job, we were still cool. And when I say cool, I mean like work cool. Cause like I said, I don't really get that cool with work people. No, I don't really get that cool with work people in a very long time. It's partly because of the work that I do. And it's partly because like, again, the further you move up, the less I have in common with these people. I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm an educated thug and, that knows what I know. But, I don't have a lot in common with a lot of people that I work with. So anyway, I hit her and I said, hey, your company is hiring for XYZ position. Can you check and see if they have a referral program? And if so, can you refer me? And she goes, okay, sure. I ain't hear from that bitch again. Now, if I didn't know her personality, I would just chalk it off as maybe she forgot type shit. But I ain't a nigga that's gonna beg either, so I'm probably not gonna hit you back unless I'm in some type of destitute situation where I need to swallow my fucking pride, but that wasn't one. So, I never hit her back, but I know her personality, so I felt the way about it. I'm gonna be completely honest. Not felt the way about it like it just stayed on my mind, but felt the way about it like I'm gonna remember this when this comes back around. You know what I'm saying? Like that type of shit. So, she hit me, and said, hey, she was like, hey, Sean, like, I'm checking on all my black friends. Bitch, you started this shit off wrong. But she said something about how she checking on all her black friends and she would love it for me to walk with her in her, some type of club she in, I don't even remember. And they're marching for, racial injustice. And I'm hoping that you can come walk. I know things have been tough, right? So she wanted me to walk with her on that Friday. She hit me on like Tuesday, Wednesday, something, right? So I looked at the shit. I laughed at the shit. I put my middle finger up to the shit like, I ain't fucking with you. But I said, I'm going to respond back to be nice, nasty, petty Betty. So I waited until Sunday, this well after the fucking march and shit. And I said, hey, I said, hope the march went well. I said, I'm sure that these last 4 years have been, I said, remember that conversation that we had when Trump was elected? And I feel like she pushed me into that conversation because I don't like politics at work. But she kept pushing me and asking me how do you feel? And da-da-da-da-da. And we were having lunch together or whatever because she invited me to lunch. I wasn't even in the mood to talk to nobody. And majority of the people in my office were voted for Hillary. But anyway, she pushed me to that conversation. That conversation led us to her saying to me, well, I feel like you're wrong or something of that nature for calling individuals who voted for Trump racist or bigots or something of that nature. And I told her, I said back then, 4 years ago, I said, I feel personally, if you vote for Trump, he has no skills. So if you vote for him, it's because you hate something. You hate black people. You hate gay people. You hate Muslims. You hate women. You hate something more than you like yourself. And she wanted to debate me and say how I was wrong and how her father-in-law voted for Trump because he's a businessman and you can't label him a racist because he lost over $250,000 out of you know, his investments because, you know, of the economy and shit like that. And I say again, what that tells me is your family cares more about money than human rights, human decency, human respect, or even for yourselves.
Yep.
So to me, that still is, you know, what you say, 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other. Yep. Like, that's the same thing to me. You know what I'm saying? So I said to her, I said, do you remember that conversation that we had when Trump was first elected? I said, I'm sure this has been a sobering 4 years for you. I said, yeah, the life of an African American in this country is hard every day. And I'm glad that you're going out there to speak your voice. I need you to continue to speak up, even when you're in the company of friends that don't think like you. Mm-hmm. And I said, continue to fight and continue to educate your friends. I said, hope your kids are well. Have a good one. Like, not no, bitch, how you doing? Mm-hmm. Not no, hey, I meant to get in contact with you, but I forgot. Like, no, bitch. Like, I still remember that shit. I remember that shit you said about Trump. And the thing about it is, I know she used to fuck black niggas. Like, she used to fuck black men. You know, white people, they start telling all their business and shit. Oh yeah. It really ain't too many people that I've worked with in the past 10 years. 15 years maybe, that can like tell me anything but very basic information about me. You might know where I'm from. You might know how many siblings I have, that I am not married. However, you probably won't know if I'm in a relationship. Like, they can't tell me anything. And then when they get to talking, they just get to talking. She told me how she used to get high at work and how she used to fuck black guys. And she loved fucking black guys until her parents, she didn't say this, but I deduced until her parents, basically told her that that wasn't acceptable. So 4 years ago, she was with a born ass white nigga that she hated. Cause her family seemed pretty racist, but you know, she our age. So she grew up in a little bit more diverse times where she had access to Mandingo. You know what I'm saying? Like, without, you know,
an African soup bone.
Right. Without an Emmett Till situation happening.
Whatever.
African
like,
soup
you know,
bone?
the white woman like the African soup bone. Yeah, they do. I guess so.
I feel like they do. I don't know where that comes
it
from.
Sounds good. It's from Africa, so I'm pretty sure. It's from a black person.
I feel like a soup bone is pretty big. Like, you could say like a chicken wing bone and it'd be like Asian. I don't know. But yeah, but you know, I just say all of that to say that it's just been eye opening, and for me to see a shift in what's going on right now, I do feel like there's a shift going on. Now, I'm not saying we about to be get these reparations and we all free. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that I feel like this current uprising is getting some traction.
Yeah. It's definitely, you know, how do you bite an elephant, or how do you eat an elephant rather, one bite at a time. So
exactly.
I mean, I haven't, like I told the CEO, I was like, and I said it on this podcast, if you would have bet me $10 million that when George Floyd died, that all this would have occurred, I would have been I wouldn't have had no money, because, you know, I didn't anticipate this. Nobody would have been able to predict this, in my opinion, that this would have been like the camel that, you know, the straw that broke the camel's back. So, you know, I'm fortunate and I'm happy that it's occurred the way it is, and, you know, look forward to progress. We got a long way to go, but you got to start somewhere.
But we making steps, and I feel like we making strides. And, you know, I have some friends that, some people are optimists and some people are pessimists, and some people are just born pessimists, right? So no matter what happened, if it's not the end result, they're not, and I don't want to say satisfied, but we have to appreciate the steps that we are making, because we could be standing still. That's the way I think of things. And,
absolutely,
that may be an optimist way of thinking of things. But,
I mean, I think that's just reality though. Like, the reality of it is, like, while you're saying, we got a mad way to go, we still are making, it's been considerable change. I mean, we got legislation that needs to be passed and shit like that. But at the same time, like, more has been acknowledged in the past 2 weeks, on a global stance than I've ever seen. Like, ever. So you can't, it's undeniable. You can't deny that. You know what I mean? Like, you can't deny it. You can say it might be, obviously the propaganda motherfuckers and, and which I still believe. I mean, it's absolutely, propaganda still associated with it, but at the same time, it is what it is though. Like, it's propaganda associated with it, but there's also some reality in that shit and being truth to power. Like, I think, somebody, who the fuck was it? Jennifer Aniston, maybe. I don't know if you saw the clip of Minister Farrakhan on, it was a long time ago, on Donahue. Did you ever see that one?
I want to say yes.
Where he was like, when they had the white people in the audience and shit, and he was sitting up there like by himself, all quiet and calm and reserved. And basically was like, his message was, he was like, white people fear black people because they think that we're going to do what they did to us and we're not going to do that. So she posted like, and that was basically the summation of it all, but it was much more eloquent because, Farrakhan be giving it up. But like, she posted it and then, Chelsea Handler reposted it. Like, a bunch of white people started reposting the shit and liking it and shit. And so then obviously the next day, like, the New York Times was saying like, all these white celebrities are posting an anti-Semite. That shit is, even if he is anti-Semitic, which he isn't, even if he isn't, you can still take the message of the truth was the truth. Like, what it is, that was the actual factual truth. That had nothing to do with like Jewish and shit. Like, you got to take what he said and what that piece of, 59-second clip was. It was speaking to the truth. The fact that white people are basically just so guilty for what they did that they don't want that shit done to them. Right. So like, and that's what it was. So like, people, try to tarnish and put, some mud in the water as much as they can so that they can try to dirty it. But at the same time, like, the truth is truth. You can't run away from the truth. It's all fact based. If it's fact based, it's fact based. Like, it is what it is. You may not like the messenger, but the message is spot on. Right. Some shit is just undeniable. And that's what a lot of this shit is at this point.
Yeah. No. I agree with you. So I've had, like, again, having conversation with friends and different personality types and things like that. And I've had some individuals who is upset that everything they see has white people on it. Or, even when it came down to Rashard Brooks, white people burning down the Wendy's, or, it's this, CHAZ area of Seattle where they've taken over. That shit was super hard. So they've taken over an area of Seattle and they blocked that whole bitch off, and they
got more blocks. They've continued to expand.
So the mayor has let them, I've been a little bit out of pocket in the past few days, but the mayor has let them continue to expand that shit.
Yep.
So
it's been no crime. It's been no reason for them to vote against it, I guess, outside of the fact that it's just taking over city blocks. But they're feeding people. They're having concerts in that bitch every week, like every weekend and shit. Like, they're feeding people
I think
daily.
Everybody should do that.
Shit is crazy.
I think every city should just get them a whole space. I thought that shit was hard as fuck. So one of my friends was talking about how, but I see a whole bunch of white people with AKs guarding it. White people. And so my thing to that was, if you rocking with us, I don't give a fuck what color you are.
Hell yeah. I mean, we have to have them. We're the minority.
That's what I said. We can't combat racism alone.
The minority has to have the majority's support. Like,
exactly. I'm like, we can't do this by ourselves. Yeah. We need white people to say, hey, other white people, this is wrong. Because we can't undo something that we didn't create. We need those allies. We can't do it alone. We can't fix something we didn't break. Yeah. All we can do is yell and tell you guys and educate ourselves enough to take over, to infiltrate the system. But while we're doing that, we need y'all to understand where y'all got us fucked up at.
Where did you think where did you think the Underground Railroad was? You think that was like a bunch of black people free, like that had shit? We didn't have shit. Like we had to get free on the backs of fucking white people because they had shit. They had houses for us to be like the Underground Railroad was a makeup of fucking houses all from here to fucking Canada. Like you had to have like intel and people that were supporting the cause. Like, and yeah, you made for one stop, it might be black, but the next 4 or 5 is going to be some white folks involved. I'm pretty sure. You know what I'm saying? So like,
for sure.
Yeah. Like that's there's always been abolitionists for the entire time. We have to have that. Like see, and that's what I'm saying. Like certain shit is just less is more. Like that doesn't even make sense to it for it not to be. Like how can you even not, how does your mind not even go? So like the radical black people that like don't see the forest for the trees are the same as the fucking white people that don't see the forest for the fucking trees. You know what I'm saying?
Extreme left and right.
Yeah, it's like fuck. Like you're so radically like just this way that you can't even understand. Like, why would you even say some shit like, all the white people? Bro, we got to have white people. Like, if we ain't got no white people, we shorter than the midget in the puddle. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit is just how it go.
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And I've had to, you know, I'm like, well, this is what we need. So, like, there was a problem as well with all of the companies sending out emails and shit like that and putting on their website that they have they support Black Lives Matter, right? So being a corporate person is funny because I just said this earlier today about being a corporate person all my life because I work for a blue collar company, but I work in corporate. So, you know, blue collar people and corporate people
don't mix.
I don't have any problem with blue collar people, but blue collar people seem to think that corporate people feel like they're better than them.
Right.
Or it's us against them type thing. So I said the statement, I've been a corporate person my whole life, which I have, and that's purposeful. I went to school for a certain thing, so I don't have to do like manual labor because that's not what I'm personally built for. But there's nothing wrong with that. I have no problems with anything anybody does to make an honest living. But being a corporate person, I understand that anything a corporation does is for publicity. I don't give a fuck if it's Susan G. Komen. I don't give a fuck if it's they feeding the homeless. It's twofold for them. They're doing it. Yes. Could it be some executive's passion project? Is it something that's just a good thing to do? I'm not saying that all companies are evil, but what I am saying is they're going to use it for dual purpose. They're going to use it to help somebody, but to also gain customers. That's what they do. Yeah. So, a friend of mine had a problem with that, saying, well, I feel like all these companies using it for, publicity and they're just using it for advertising and they don't really believe in it. My response to that, and you can tell me what your response to it is, B. My response to that is all companies do this, whether you know it or not. They're not doing it out the goodness of their heart. It's
a company.
It's a company. Their goal is to make money, right? But second of all, especially for this cause versus any other cause, if you put Black Lives Matter up there, you're risking revenue, my nigga. Like you're risking revenue. Yep. So me personally, I applaud any company that wanted to take that on and who whether you believe in it, whether you think it's a good PR move.
I want to see fucking Black Lives Matter every the fuck where.
Everywhere.
Like, what's the problem with that?
Everywhere. What's wrong with that? Listen, and people, let's keep it 100. People are such sheep. They want to be on whatever is popping. So if you seeing Black Lives Matter everywhere like you used to see bling bling when that was popular, make you know what Black Lives Matter is and make that popular to you to the point where you want to change legislation, to the point where you're not erroneously calling the police on black people because you want to seem down, whether it's real or fraud. I don't give a fuck.
Fact.
Put it out there. Because that's the only way change is going to happen. But what you're not going to do, if you make this stance and let me shut the fuck up because 2020 will surprise you all the time. But once you make this stance, it's not like you can be like, oh, we support breast cancer and then be like, oh, fuck breast cancer. You know what I mean? Like, you can't say that. So once you've kind of drawn your line in the sand, I respect that. You're saying even like Jeff Bezos, who's about to be a trillionaire, like he put something on his social media where a customer was basically fucking cussing him the fuck out, saying like, how the fuck you gonna put that shit? I'm never buying anything from Amazon again. This nigga is almost a trillionaire. You threatening him with your $12.99 and your motherfucking $100, $200 a month you spend on Amazon. He don't give a fuck. He said, I understand that when my son leaves the house, I don't worry about if he's gonna come back.
Yep.
And everybody can't do that. So basically, peace out. I don't need you as a fucking customer. And they are hating that. We're getting a lot of momentum. Still spending. You ain't about to give up Amazon, my nigga.
Shit, no.
Amazon is the Chick-fil-A of online ordering.
That shit is like you have to have it. I wouldn't even say it's Chick-fil-A because like even vegans want that shit. Like this shit is like you can go somewhere else, but you really ain't trying to go to fucking. You ain't trying to go to fucking.
You ain't
nowhere.
trying to run errands, my nigga. Like let me get that. Listen, I just literally ordered something earlier that I could have went to CVS to get.
Yeah,
but I'm like, it's here. It's actually a little bit cheaper, and it's gonna be here tomorrow. Why not? Yep. Why I gotta go to the store?
Right.
Like my $12.99 cover all of that. FYI, if you get EBT or if you're a student or something like that, it's $5.99 for you. So if you get public assistance, hop on that. I'm not telling you use your money unwisely because Amazon can be addictive. I'm gonna take that back. Sometimes I do buy shit I don't necessarily need. But most of the time I get a lot of shit just prevents me from going to the store for shit. And especially during COVID. So you know, that's that. But you pretty much okay with the companies, the Macy's and the Amazons and
nigga, I want black people to be at the front of your brain every day.
All day, every day.
Why not?
Do you think you can be smart and a racist?
No.
There's no way the two can coexist.
I don't think so. Cause if you're smart, I would imagine that you understand basic principles and shit. And the basic principle that's not true. I can say, yes, you can be smart and be a racist. Absolutely. However, you can't denounce it or say that it doesn't exist because then you're not smart. But if you say, yes, it exists and I'm a racist, then yes. Like if you hate somebody for whatever reason, that's fine. You know what I mean? Like you can have that belief. That's based on emotion, but you can still be able to process information. Now, if you're continually given education and you just decide to ignore it, then, you might have a dunce cap. But some people just hate people based off an emotion. You know what I'm saying? For whatever reason. So, but I think you can be smart, but you can't say that it doesn't exist or some shit like that. You can't be oblivious and try to act like shit doesn't happen.
When I process that, I think that you can be smart, but also have an ego. Because I don't feel like any intelligent person, or I haven't had an intelligent person explain to me why they're racist, right? Like they haven't had a good excuse. They always give like some stats that are grounded in systemic racism as to why those stats exist. You go to jail, you're on food stamps, which again, a lot of those things, as far as numbers, aren't even true. You know what I mean? Like, but you have these things that you see, right? And I feel like any intelligent person would look into any things themselves, right? But I feel like I would be able to respect a racist that says, listen, I find you guys intimidating because you do X, Y, Z. I find you intimidating because I know you're bigger than me, stronger than me, faster than me. I feel like my ego wants me to be superior. And some people just want to be superior. Some people just want to be king or queen or whatever in their egos. Right. I can respect that more. Like, if I give you motherfuckers an inch, you gonna take a yard and you gonna take the fuck over. That's what my mind thinks. But as far as the things that I hear about racism, it's hard for me to process because I'm just like, there's no way you can be smart and say this. Because none of that is based in truth. Right. So, you know, I don't know, like, you know, and that kind of goes back to my work and shit where they're talking about, you know, well, he's really good at his job. I don't give a fuck if he's good at his job. He's making it bad for everybody else.
He's a piece of shit person. This is a person that you would like represent you.
Exactly.
So what if he's so good at his job and he's just as equally as good at being a racist and he decides to kill somebody and he works here and then the press and the blowback comes on to you. How do you feel about that? Exactly.
I think for something that I'm looking into was very interesting to me is the incident that happened. We know that it happened within the facility. We know that it didn't happen from an outside person. So we're interviewing all of these individuals about an incident that took place. And everybody is saying, I don't think anybody here would do that. Well, it's here, so somebody did it. Right. Like, I need y'all to wrap y'all head around that. Like, regardless of whether you think somebody would or not, they did. Undeniable. They did. It's undeniable. We don't know who the culprit is, but we know the call is coming from inside the house. Yep. Like, somebody that works here that has the authority to badge in and get into this particular building committed this act. So whether you want to believe it or not, it happened. And it's very amazing and mind blowing to see how people will protect their own. And as we're conducting this investigation, my manager's like, it's interesting because it's just like a union. Like they want to protect each other, whether it's for their own good or not. And I said, yeah, like the police. The police are part of a union. Right. That's why you haven't heard police of any outside, or if they're ex-police, they might speak up, but like current police are not speaking up, right? And going back to my conversation probably 45 minutes ago in this podcast where my manager talks about the police, she was like, I saw an article where someone said there's no good police. And I just thought that was so extreme. And I said, well, technically, if you're a good officer and you know of things that are going wrong with bad officers, you become a bad officer because you didn't report it. Mm-hmm. And you're not doing anything about it. I said, so essentially, there are no good police if majority of them are not speaking up. Even if it's only 10% that are doing wrong. Y'all see enough what's going on. Y'all see enough video. Y'all see the shit we saw. Y'all know they officers. Y'all know they work with y'all. Y'all know it's Blue Lives Matter. But what was also very interesting because I interviewed a black guy and he was very passionate about the incident and talked about like some race related things that happened. But still at the end of the day, he said, I don't think anybody here would do that. No, bitch, somebody did it. Like, somebody did it. So somebody did it. Somebody did this. It. Somebody committed this act of racism inside your facility. And you guys don't want to admit that somebody did it. So you're covering up for somebody over and over. So I'm just like, all right, cool. But when the black guy said it, because I feel like the black guy that I interviewed, and I hadn't interviewed many black guys. Again, there aren't many black guys, but he was schooling. He wasn't schooling me because I was already hip. But, you know, he was probably getting on his B hill at work, talking to these two other white people that are on this Skype meeting and talking about the bullshit that's been going on, how he feel about it. But at the end of that conversation, he said, no, I don't think anybody here would do it.
That's crazy.
Blew my mind.
That's fucking nuts. Like, come on, brother. Like, damn. Like this nigga here. Like this nigga you look at in the movies, they're like, look at this nigga here. Like, god damn.
Right.
The whole time. You shucking and jiving.
Exactly. as I always say, you have a good transition. So hold on to that energy when we get the free smoke. Cause that's exactly what free smoke is about. You want to give, even though everything we've been talking about been a black fact, you want to give a B's black fact?
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, that was wild.
Hey, before you get into that, you could keep looking. What did you think about how Insecure ended?
So initially I was like, I liked it, but then like I've heard various podcasts and niggas was talking about it, like shit was kind of corny.
Really? What they say?
Like niggas was saying like how niggas was coming at Lawrence and shit, like how he was a fuck nigga and shit. Like how was Lawrence a fuck nigga? Like,
oh, I didn't think Lawrence was a fuck nigga.
Yeah, and then like they were saying like if it's a 30-minute episode, why the fuck were we looking for fucking old girl for 15
Latoya
minutes? Like I don't give a fuck where she was at. And then like you found her and she won't hanging from a fucking thing or some shit. Like you found her and she was fine. Like get the fuck out of here. Like it was 15 minutes. We on the bus and all type of shit. Like that shit was lame.
Oh, so you talking about Tiffany? I thought you was talking about Finding Latoya, the show within the show. You talking about Tiffany? Gotcha.
Yeah, like that shit was dumb as hell. Like everybody on the bus trying to find a bitch. Like I would have much rather like like Issa go fucking confront Condola or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I would have rather that have happened, but I still enjoy it at the time. But my old lady was like, that shit was stupid. And she was like, cause I knew that Lawrence, I said this on this podcast. I'm thinking that Lawrence had old girl pregnant. I saw that coming, but
that's what I was going to ask you. Did you see that coming? Cause I listened to the, Insecure podcast, like the after show podcast. Mm-hmm. And they were saying, I was like, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, I knew it. I didn't even hear that, but I was like, oh yeah, that bitch pregnant for sure. Like, as soon as they broke up and shit, I was like, yeah, she definitely pregnant. Like, I saw that coming a mile away. But, you watch the Chi?
I did watch the Chi, but before we get into the Chi.
Oh, let me do my black.
I wanna know. So, I found that scene with Molly and Homeboy very, like, interesting.
I did like that scene.
You didn't like it?
I did. I liked it.
Yeah. And then when nigga hit her with that, what are you fighting for? Like, we don't even fuck with each other like that. Like, what are you fighting for?
You know what? I wish they wouldn't have panned away. It was it was some dope scene. Like that scene was dope. And when Issa was smoking on the fucking balcony, that cinematography was fucking.
I don't know
crazy.
Who directed this episode, but I personally feel like cinematography, aerial shots, everything was great.
Yeah.
That episode, I liked, the Condola, the Condola, Lawrence conversation. That was fire.
That was fire. Like that was fucking
that shit was fire.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, oh, this shit is nasty. I think that's what was like had me pumped up at the time. I'm like, damn, this shit is really well shot. When she was sitting on the fucking porch and shit, blowing that J.
Yeah,
and like that shit was dumb and like the color schemes and shit. And then they were saying like, I'm a nerd, so I saw some shit like they were saying like every time that Issa and Lawrence talked, it was warm colors, and every time her and Nathan talked, it was like dull colors and shit. Like every time throughout the whole season, pretty much. I was like, oh shit, I ain't even peeped that, but it was crazy. Like when they did like the still shots, I was like, hey, that a bitch. That shit was fire. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, like throughout the whole fucking 10 episodes, like it was mad warm colors with Issa and bruh, and then mad like cold colors with Nathan and shit. But yeah, it was good. Aside from that, I just didn't like the going to find Tiffany. Like, bitch, like if I'm going to find you, you should be like, cut your wrist or some shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that.
No, B, let's calm down for a second because postpartum is a real thing.
Is a real deal. I'm not discounting that at all because I know a lot of women that have dealt with that. However, I didn't need to see it in the finale. That's all I'm saying. Like, that could have been like,
I felt like they could have got to that earlier because I actually predicted that.
Yeah,
I was like, Tiffany has postpartum. She don't fuck with this baby like that. Like, and shit
they
fucked
been
up.
In that same episode, but
like maybe that episode was designed because that was gonna be the only way that Issa and fucking Molly was gonna get back together.
And I'm cool
because of a mutual friend.
Care about that.
You don't care about their friendship no more.
I'm cool on that.
What do you care about on the show?
I care about Issa and Lawrence. Like, I love.
That's what you care about.
Yeah, they're my friends.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Like Lawrence,
tell
my
your
homeboy,
team.
and Issa's my friend. So like, I would be their friend, and we would all like, I don't know, it'd just be weird, and I'd be talking. I'd be like, yeah, I mean, I care about motherfuckers.
You hang out with Lawrence? You don't give me a Lawrence type guy.
Yeah, I got.
I don't think you would be anti-Lawrence, but I don't think you'll be like.
I got like nerd friends. I got like gangster friends. I got like sport nigga, jockey niggas. That's all they talk about. Like, I got a myriad of and that's the beautifulness of black people. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes,
we don't have to be like, and even despite like everybody's different, we still black as fuck. So like we still understand black shit to the core. You know what I'm saying? Which is wild. Like, it could be a sports nigga, it could be a streets nigga, it could be a nerd nigga, it could be a corporate nigga, it could be a blue collar like nigga that, you know what I'm saying, like lay floors and shit. But they all like, it's still black than the motherfucking for the most part. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
I'm not saying that like Lawrence wouldn't be a cool nigga. Like, if you literally like were introduced, like if I were introduced to Lawrence, like, yeah, like he'll be a cool nigga. But I just don't find Lawrence to have like a lot of.
Lawrence is a nigga that you grow up with. Like, okay. Lawrence isn't a nigga like that you meet, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, my nigga Lawrence, like, yo, bro, cool as hell, bring him to the crib. Like, and I wouldn't say that. Like, but he probably still get that. He's just
a little bland to me.
Yeah, but if you grew up with him, like, that's my nigga Lawrence, man.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? Like, when he bring around, like, why you bring that corny ass nigga around? That's my nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, I grew up with that nigga. That's my dog. Like, and I'm pretty sure, you know what I'm saying? I got niggas like that now. You know what I'm saying? I may be that nigga to some other people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I grew up with niggas, so it is what it is. But,
I got you. All right.
You know
all right. So you want Lisa, Issa, and Lawrence to be together?
Hell yeah. My niggas. Like,
I think, what's your predictions on the season? Because I feel like next season, Condola is gonna have this baby. I don't think Issa and Lawrence gonna make it. I think Issa is gonna cheat on Lawrence again.
Yeah.
And probably with Nathan.
Gonna get that pussy. Cause like, why are you still kicking it with Nathan? Like, if we rocking, don't be that nigga friend. Like, what? You're not helping him move. The fuck? Like, he good. Fine. Tell him to help the Asian nigga to help him move. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Would you
help a fat bitch move? A thick chick move?
Nah, not if I'm like, covertly. I wouldn't do it like.
So the problem is she's being honest about it.
like, nah, you can't do that. Like, you can't just be like.
You can't be honest. See, that's niggas' problems. You're a nigga.
You can't be goddamn kicking it like going, and then he throwing salt on the nigga name. Like, come on, my nigga, like. You definitely like, if I'd have heard that, like, I'm like, all right, well, bitch, you about to be messy anyway. So me fitting, like, you ain't finna be going talking crazy about my nigga and shit. And then I'm still doing you a favor, even though I know you like me and shit. Nah, I'm out.
B-Hill, shut the hell up, because if you was covertly helping the bitch move and the bitch gonna say, your little girlfriend, your little wife at the house, da-da-da-da-da-da, you probably correct her, but you ain't leaving, nigga.
Nigga, I have any excuse to not help your ass move. I'm out. Bitch, fuck you, bitch. You need me. I don't need you. Goddamn. Fuck out of here.
Yeah, damn. The nigga that run deep.
You gotta call your brother, your cousin. Fuck that shit. And I definitely like, that's how I know I couldn't be like having no side bitch shit. Bitch talking about she gotta move, bitch, and shit. Goddamn. You better call somebody. I'm not finna come over there and help you move all goddamn day.
Listen, what I will say, I feel like as far as jump and run, a nigga will definitely jump and run for his side bitch because she the new pussy.
I for sure, I agree, but I can't do it. And like, nah, I can't do no like super extracurricular shit. Like, hell no. Moving shit. Like, I'm come home tired as hell, like, and I work, like, I got a corporate job, so I have no excuse to be tired as fuck. Shit, no.
Hey, listen, women. If a nigga can't help you move, keep your fucking legs closed. I don't care what he tied to.
I agree.
Don't give no nigga no pussy that can't give you no money, can't help you out. If a nigga ain't improving your life, if anybody, I don't give a fuck what your sexuality is. If a motherfucker can't improve your life, don't fucking fuck with them.
That's why I can't do nothing with you, because I can't help you. I can't improve you like this. I need all my money. I need all my energy. I have some mad kids at the crib. I got shit. I be having to cut grass and shit at the house. I'm not finna come over and cut yours.
Grass.
The fuck? Nah, hell no. And then there's something you paying a nigga to come cut it. The fuck? Nah. I'll just cut my losses and stay over here.
Hey, I know that's right. I mean, I feel like that's what most people should do.
Yeah, I feel like
that. That's what majority, but most people ain't.
Like, that energy is fucking wild. Like, I got homeboys that still be getting to it a little bit with like multiple. I don't see how I be like, boy, y'all niggas old and still we goddamn. I ain't got time. Time I get all work and goddamn kick it with the kids or some shit. I don't feel like dealing with your ass. You know what I'm saying?
I just feel like at a certain age, I just don't feel like you should commit to somebody if you know that's not the place that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's just how I rock. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not about to commit to you. We can continue to do whatever we do, But if I don't feel like I can be faithful to you, and I decided this at what, 28 or so. I can't remember exact what point in life, but I was just like, it ain't worth it. You know what I'm saying? I've cheated before. I've done all of those things, but now I just feel like relationships are so much fucking work that I must really gotta love you to want to be in one. Like a lot of people tell me like, no, I get into relationships and I don't love people and, I learn to love them. No, I'm not wasting that energy. Trust me. Hey, anybody out there I've been in a relationship with, know that I loved you, because otherwise I'm not about to do this, because I can be single, do whatever the fuck I want and still have you legally though, like by telling you the truth. You know what I'm saying? Then that's when you get into the whole side conversations and motherfuckers being mad because you're being truthful. But I'd rather be truthful than fucking end up on Snap because I fucking lied to you. At this age, you know what I'm saying? At this age, like, what's the point? You literally don't have to be married. You literally don't have to be in a relationship. You don't have to commit to anybody that you don't want to commit to. So stop committing to motherfuckers if you know you want to be single. It's totally legal to be single. You can smash, bash, whatever the fuck you want. Like, period. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But listen, I know motherfuckers in their 50s, 60s, and 70s that still out here lying and jiving and all this shit, and more power to you, but that's why you're damn heart failing and you got high blood pressure and all this fucking shit. Cause you want to deal with all this shit, man. But, you talked about the Shy real quick. I did see the Shy. How did you feel about that? How do you feel what they did to Jason Mitchell?
That shit was corny. I'll be honest. Like, that shit was kind of stupid. Like, yeah. I mean, it was like, they didn't really have anywhere to go, but like, maybe that might tie into the rest of the episodes. Like, they're trying to figure out who killed Brandon or some shit. But, I don't know. Maybe they just, or might leave it where it is. Cause like, if you watch the last episode, like that has no, it doesn't go that way at all. So, but no, I enjoyed the episode. It was good. I fucked with the kids growing up on me and shit. I feel like,
that's a wild thing.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Watching kids grow up on TV is always crazy, but
and that's right. Pussy and shit. Like, that shit is hard because, like, I was doing the same shit. Like, and now my kids, like, in maybe 6 or 7 years gonna be, you know what I'm saying, starting to try to, like, do some shit like that, which is fucking nuts. So it's just like, I don't know. Like, that's what my old lady, she was like, they're getting so old. She was like, our kids gonna be old like that in a second. I was like, I know, because, it's just a matter of time. But, nah, it was good. That part was cool, I guess. You know what I mean? His mom, that part was, I liked it, but it was interesting, the dialogue or the monologue that she had, you know, when she was doing her thing. But she just got arrested for some cocaine down here, actually.
She did. She just
got locked up.
She did. I was surprised she was back. I was like, oh, they brought, because she wasn't there all last season, was she?
I'm not sure.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I think so, though, for a couple times.
But she came back. So yeah, that speech was very, interesting, but I don't know. I was going through a lot when I watched that the other day. And, speaking of going through a lot, I just want to say, rest in peace to Mom Edith. It's, my friend's mom. She lost her battle to cancer. And, we love you. It was great because I actually, was kicking it with her about 3 weeks ago for my birthday. Mm-hmm. And, she came down and she got dressed and everything and came down, even though she's been going through all of this and being in so much pain. And she came down to bless me for my birthday and kick it with us and tell us how she, she's not an unconventional parent. So, she was like, go ahead, do what you do, smoke, whatever. I don't care about none of that. Y'all grown. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, she didn't care. So, rest in peace to Mom Edith and fuck cancer.
Fuck cancer.
Fuck cancer. And she's having a service, and I'm going to attend that. But I've witnessed her with her children, and just, I'm not a mom, but I know, like, my love for my nieces and nephews, so I can only imagine at times a billion if they're actually your kids. Right. So I've seen her and my homegirl Shay, bond and how they hang out and have a good time. And, that was awesome. So rest in peace to Ma Edith. But on the flip side of fuck cancer, I want to give a shout out to my friend Keisha, who has been declared cancer free.
I know that's right.
I was just with Keisha at homecoming in November. Right after that, she got diagnosed with cancer. So she's young, or what I deem to be young, you know what I mean? 30s, late 30s, 40. Had breast cancer, went through all of her radiation, got surgery, mastectomy, all of that. And now she's cancer free. Cancer don't discriminate, y'all. Is all I'm saying. It's nothing I can say to prevent cancer besides like lung cancer. Other than that, like, and you still can't even prevent that. But it's just fuck cancer, man. Like,
absolutely,
100%, just fuck cancer, man. So my bad, B. But when we started talking about that, I thought about Ma Edith.
Definitely. I thought about it earlier, and I was gonna say something, but I guess it's more your friend than mine, so I wanted you to speak to her, I guess.
Yeah. And I got a picture with her. She came in the house. Well, I was in the house. She was like, "You the birthday girl, and I still don't have a picture with you." And we took a picture.
That's dope.
And that was 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, time to be moving. Shout out to my homeboy Johnny. I don't know if his mom passed from eye cancer. She had breast cancer twice. And then
rest in peace.
She ended up having, she had eye cancer, and she passed away about 3 weeks ago, I believe, I guess, give or take. So shout out to her. And shout out to him, and him having to deal with it. And shout out to Beezy, because I can only imagine. So losing a parent, God bless him.
Yeah. I have a parent who has passed, and is very. I realize within myself and having self-awareness that I have like an awkwardness with death, right? So having a parent that has passed away, and knowing what that feels like, or just death period, having a loved one pass away. You care and you want to check on your friend, but you don't want to burden them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to constantly remind them that whomever in their life is no longer with them. So I feel like it's super awkward for me, because the reason I don't know exactly how to support you, because I don't know how I wanted people to support me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It was like this up and down thing. And like, you might be in a good mood and somebody be like, "Oh yeah, how you doing since your pops passed?" Or, whatever the case may be. And you just like, I'm down again. You know what I'm saying? So, I think that I did differently with Shay is I just made that known. And I was just like, look, this is how I am about death. I want you to know that when I say, let me know what you need, I'm here for you, I mean that. That's not just a figure of speech type thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, let me know what you need. Like, that shit is painful. Like, that shit is painful. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So let me know what you need, and I will provide that, and I will check on you, but I may not, be the person that's hitting you like every single day. Right. And unless you tell me that's what you want.
Yeah, because it was funny, because with my one of my best friends, her pops passed a couple years ago, Mr. Miles and shit. But
rest in peace, Mr.
She was
Miles.
like, this was like 2 or 3 years ago, but we were at like kicking it, at her house or whatever and shit, and like somebody like some random family member called her and shit and was like, "Hey, just call her and shit if anything you need." She was like, "I need some crab legs." But she did it on purpose, because she knew like motherfuckers was like, she just be saying shit, you know what I'm saying? She was like, I was hoping, she was like, Lowe's, I seen Lowe's had some crab legs on sale, so if you feel like bringing them, you know what I'm saying? The person was like, all right, I'll see what I can do for you. She was like, exactly. Like, I'm like, all right, boom. And then we just started laughing like shit, because it was funny as hell. Like, yeah, motherfucker be saying like empty ass fucking words sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Like, so motherfucker be like, yeah. Well shit, I was thinking, I actually was trying to get some steaks, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So come through with some steaks. So, like, it was funny.
You know what's funny? On that same note, a person in my family, I'm not going to mention their name, they had that issue. Where it's just like, people say, tell you what you need or whatever, but they just be talking, they don't do nothing. I said, well, did you tell them what you need?
You're right. You ain't even give them
No, I didn't. They should know I need. How they supposed to know what you need, my nigga? Like,
Well,
you didn't even bring them. You didn't even ask them for nothing, but you mad at them because they just didn't offer you a blank check or they didn't, you know what I mean? Just be like, hey, here's $500. You know what I mean? If you would have said, here's what I need, at least let people prove you wrong. Yeah. Goddamn. Like, if I tell you, let me know what you need and you don't tell me, I'm assuming you don't need shit. If I call Shay and I say, you know, you good, you know, whatever, you need something, and she was like, I'm feeling down, but I need some crab leg, I'm gonna get you some crab legs. Yeah. Now, if you trying to be just an asshole and see what you can get out of people, just because you have somebody that passed don't mean I don't know you, nigga. Like, fuck you, I'm not buying you no fucking crab legs. That was funny, though.
Like, it was just a random ass, like, you know what I'm saying? Like a third cousin of a third cousin, some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? She was like, well, yeah, I was thinking about some crab legs.
Hey, they probably got the crab legs and then got her all types of bitches to the rest of the family. Like, you know, this bitch something, she needs some fucking crab legs.
Some crab legs? Shit. Yeah, that's what it needs. Shit, goddamn. But.
Hey, give us the black fact. We done went long. Get into your black fact. Skippity bebop, bo, B's black facts.
Today we are going to celebrate Miss Wilma Glodine Rudolph. She was born today in 1940 in St. Bethlehem, Tennessee. She was weighing a mere 4.5 pounds. She was born premature. Wilma Rudolph was an African-American Olympic athlete who competed in the Olympic Games of 56 and 60. She was the first African-American woman to win 3 gold medals in track and field events during the single Olympic Games. She won her first gold medal at the age of 16 in the 1956 Olympics, running the 4x100 meter relay. And then the 1956 in Melbourne Olympics alongside May Feggs, Margaret Matthews, and Isabel Daniels. She won the gold medal at just the mere age of 19. I just want to shout out to Wilma Rudolph. She is a incredible woman, obviously, because she was the first to do everything that she did. So, she's got a whole bunch of more shit in here, but she won medals at the age of 16 and 19, which is fucking amazing.
That's awesome. Yeah. Shout out to Wilma Rudolph, man. Right. I'm going to tell you something that was funny. Happy birthday. My family came to town. I have a cousin that lives here. We went over my cousin's house. He's a little older. But he had a friend there, and the friend was super funny. Friend, older guy too. If I had to guess, probably about, 50. He's about 50. The friend's about 50. And, he said, he was just asking us like about our day. This is our first time meeting this guy. And he was like, what y'all been doing today? Whatever. So I went to the gun range for Juneteenth. Shout out to, all the black people that were at the gun range. I had a friend go to the gun range earlier that day and hit me and was like, yo, like, it's just mad white people in the gun range. Like, it's like, it's uncomfortable, whatever. But she went early. It was about like noon, right? So I get to the gun range, it's about 4. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And mad black people was in the gun range, like with they Juneteenth shirts on. Like, I can tell that the black people who were there, especially the black women, there were a lot of black women there, came because of that. Because like, it's Juneteenth, we need to get ready. This how we fucking celebrating. Had Juneteenth shirts on, like all that. Like, it was super dope. I just want to say that Georgia, you ain't slick. I went to go get my concealed license to carry last week. They talking about, we're only doing renewals right now. I look over to see who getting their shit renewed. I see 8 white men sitting there in the line. You only doing renewals? I thought the government was closed because of COVID. You got the same employees doing renewals that you have doing new registrations. And the guy there basically, so it's not like they're any higher risk for COVID. You know what I'm saying? Right. And the black dude who was at the front desk said like, listen, they try to make sure they people straight before they start giving y'all guns, basically. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that shit was fucked up. Kemp, you ain't low. Georgia, you ain't low.
But did you still buy it? Were you still able to buy one though?
You can buy guns, but you just can't get your license right now.
Oh, did you buy one?
Did I buy a gun?
Yeah.
I was going to buy a gun, but the gun show that I was going to was canceled.
Just go to a gun store, man. Go get you a gun. Stop. Don't procrastinate. You can get the concealed later.
So here's the thing. If you go on any of these gun sites right now, it's crazy because they're like, the request for ammunition is due to the overwhelming request for ammunition. We have delays. Due to the request of certain type of guns.
They got them at the store though.
We have delays.
Go to the gun store.
I say all that to say prices are super fucking high right now. Online and shit like that. So
don't go online. Go to the store.
It's the same stores. Every store has an online, but I'm looking for a gun. I will say that to you. I am looking for a gun within the range in which I would like to pay for a gun, which pre all of this was a range I wanted to pay for certain guns that I want to have. I forgot where I'm going. Oh, where I was going with all that is we were talking about that shit. We were talking about, Juneteenth and all that. He was like, man, they just sprung Juneteenth on us. I already had the dude's name is Charles. Man? No, at my cousin's house.
Oh, okay, good.
He said, he was asking us what we had did that day. That's how I got on that rant about the guns and shit like that. Right. But, he said, man, they just sprung Juneteenth on us. I was like, but Juneteenth been a thing. He was like, but don't act like we just been celebrating it. Don't act like we just been celebrating. I said, no, we probably haven't been celebrating it. How we used to. I mean, how we should. He was like, man, I ain't gonna even lie. I already got people coming in for the 4th of July. If I ain't know people, if people hadn't already made plans for the 4th of July, I would have had a Juneteenth party. He was like, but next year, Juneteenth is lit. Fuck 4th of July.
Yeah, I ain't celebrating 4th of July this year. Like, I'm gonna be off and shit. I'm gonna cook out. This is gonna be a normal fucking day for me. You know what I mean? That I ain't gotta work. Like,
yeah.
I had a good Juneteenth. I bought all too. Black. I paid everything black that day. Like, I went to Spot and Carry for all my North Carolina listeners. And I guess Raleigh and Durham, as my friend Sean says all the time.
Raleigh Durham, I call it.
But Your Pie is a black owned, it's like make it like kind of like a Blaze Pizza or Mod or fucking Pieology shit like that, where you make your own pizza with the ingredients that they have at their disposal. Young black dude named Ephraim, I don't know his last name, but he owns Your Pies and Carry. It's pretty good. It was all black. He had all black staff in there. You know what I'm saying? And
fire.
That shit was jumping. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I had been there before, but I didn't know he owned it. But Facebook let me know, so I ended up going there and then. I got a haircut and bought some fish and shit from a nigga on the food truck. So I felt good. I spent all black money on, Juneteenth, which I'm trying to make sure I'm doing more of, obviously. But, I said I want to support 20 black businesses within the next 30 to 45 days, depending on, in various ways and shit like that.
That's awesome. I've definitely been looking for, more so. I always look for black businesses. But I guess I've been kind of going a little bit out of my way as well to make sure that I support black businesses. I just had a black made company, a cleaning company come to my home, and I actually didn't know that they were black.
Oh, that's dope. The
logo was 2 B's, and they came to my house or whatever, but I said, I spoke to the woman, blah, 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 blah. She was like, well, you either spoke to me or this person. And I was like, something like, how you know? She was like, because it's my company. So I was like, oh, word? Like, that's dope. I was like, I didn't know it was a black business. She was like, yeah, it's a black business. I said, well, why you don't have no black people on your logo? And she was like, it's bees up there. I was like, hold on. Something made me think about white people. And then I looked at the bees. It's like bees, but then they have like a human kind of face. And it's like they have blue eyes and green eyes and eyeshadow. So me, in my mind, that was interesting to me because I automatically equated that to 2 white women. And that could have been what they were trying to do as well to see.
Yeah, they're trying to get business. They
assimilated and
I'll show up, and then you find out when they want to tell me go home.
Right. So, I think they're called 2 Bees in a Broom. If y'all want a cleaning service in Atlanta. 2 Bees in the Broom.
They do a good job.
That's dope. That's dope.
Did they do a good job?
They did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
They did a pretty good job. Let's get into some little shit.
The Mexicans clean the fuck out your crib.
Bruh, I ain't want to say it though.
That's fine. Mexicans do, I mean, certain things we good at certain shit.
I ain't want to say it. I was just gonna move along.
We can play basketball and football better than Mexicans, but they can clean cars and like lay bricks and shit like better than
Listen. I had two Mexicans coming to my crib.
What do you call two Mexicans playing basketball?
Shit. Two Mexicans.
1-on-1.
This nigga said 1-on-1, my nigga.
Yeah,
my nigga said 1-on-1. Hey,
shit all the time.
You about to be the Tina Knowles of this show. Corny joke time. That nigga said 1-on-1.
You never heard that before?
I've never heard 1-on-1. I feel like that's low-key racist.
With rubber on his toe.
What you say?
What you call a Mexican with rubber on his toe?
Damn, what is it?
Roberto.
Bruh. Hey, write your letters to thatshitshow@gmail.com.
Roberto.
But he's racist. Corny jokes be had. 1-on-1.
1-on-1. Two Mexican playing basketball.
Oh man, bro, we about to get into little shit. Little shit is our pop culture segment where we talk about all the fuck shit on your timeline. B, do you have any vices going on right now?
No, I had a beer earlier, smoke a little weed, nothing much.
Smoke a little weed. I am drinking wine.
Sorry, before I interrupt. We gotta watch American Soul too. I know we were talking about, I meant to say that when we were talking about The Chi, but you gotta watch American Soul. It comes on Beatz. It's about,
Soul Train.
Don Cornelius was a fucking nut, but he was a fucking beast. This shit is super good. Like, it's super fucking good. You should really watch it. I guarantee.
I do.
It's binge watch worthy.
I had probably the whole season on my DVR.
It's really good.
I've definitely been saying that. I take that. Too. Yeah. Cause it's like 4 or 5 new episodes I see on my DVR. So,
that shit good as hell.
I believe it. Just for some clips. That's why I started recording it. It just seemed like it's so much TV. Like, I just don't understand these people who like, I done watched everything. And I'm like, how, my nigga? Cause I've been under quarantine just like you and I haven't watched everything. I'm still like on the 6th or 7th episode of Ozark.
Oh yeah, nah. I watched that shit in a day. Like, shit like that, I watch all that shit in a day. Like, I watched American Soul. Me and my old lady caught up on that shit over the weekend, like Saturday and Sunday. We watched all that shit.
I do want to watch American Soul because
they got like, it's dope because they got like music. Like, they got all the music, but they got like Kelly Rowland playing like Gladys Knight and shit. And so it was really dope. It was really well done. Cause like, them motherfuckers bro went through a lot of shit. Like, a lot of shit. He was a piece of shit, but he had to be. Just like on some Michael Jordan shit. Like, that shit is, you see the similarities in all these motherfuckers, like, that are fucking at the top of their game. It's wild. Yeah. But my bad. Go ahead. Let's finish.
Nah, you super good. You super good. I'm definitely want to watch American Soul, and I have it, and I will put that up next. You know what I'm still trying to watch? I'm still trying to watch fucking Handmaid's Tale.
Nah, I didn't watch that shit. My wife.
Everybody told me that shit was good though.
That shit was trash. I seen like one episode.
Why was it trash?
I don't know. I just was lost. I came in on like one episode and I was confused and I was like, it's just trash.
I feel like that's how I would feel about Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Nah. Game of Thrones is the best shit that ever came. Last season was trash, but this would be the perfect time for you to watch that shit, man.
I'm not watching that shit. That shit is over.
What do you mean it's over? What does that mean?
It's over. That means that's like 7 seasons. What if I like it and then it's over? Like, I'm not about to get into a dead relationship.
I mean, but every show that you've enjoyed that has an ending. Like, that makes no sense.
No, not true. Every show has an ending, but I'm living with it. I don't know when the ending is.
But it's gonna be an ending though. Like, so you've never like
eventually it could be an ending in 2 seasons. It could be an ending in 30 seasons. It could be like SVU or The Simpsons where it goes on literally forever.
Yeah, but I mean, so you never watched a show like did you ever watch Dexter? Did you watch Dexter in real time?
Yes. Well, when I say in real time, I watched Dexter late. However, Dexter was still going on. Like, it may have been on like season 4 and I started on season 1.
Whatever.
Like, somebody hit me, yesterday and asked me, did I watch Watchmen? And I was like,
that was good.
I said, that's what I said. I said, I heard it was good, but then it was canceled. So I said, why bother?
Nah, cause it's like exactly the times that are going on now. And it's like, and it's based in Tulsa, like Tulsa, Oklahoma and shit. And they were doing the whole, cause last year people were up in arms cause they had never heard of the Tulsa, the original Black Wall Street in Tulsa and shit. And so nobody had ever heard about that. And so then, you know, everybody, it was a big to do about it cause nobody ever heard about it. And then, but that's what it was. It was like, dude, that shit is really good. It's weird as fuck, but it's good though.
I believe that is good.
And it's one of those, it's like an anthology series. Like, you don't have to have, like, where it ended, you're fine. Like, it doesn't have to be another, like, it doesn't have to be another season from it. They can do something totally different if they wanted to.
And so what you're saying is it wraps up. Like, it don't leave, like,
it's not a
good.
cliffhanger. It's like, you can see, like, okay, they can continue the next season, you know, starting some shit. But if they don't, then it's not like, oh shit, what the fuck gonna happen?
Listen, when I get into shows and they have 1 or 2 seasons and then they get canceled cause me and only one of them motherfucker watching it, like, I feel like I need that closure. Like, I just watched all this and I don't know how it ends. It's kind of like watching a movie and then like the last 15 minutes is gone.
That goes to your point though. Like, if you can watch something, you know how it's going to end. Like, that's how, like, you can watch Game of Thrones and it's going to be an ending. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to end. So.
That's true. That's true.
It's really good. You should check it out.
Yeah, we'll put that on the side, on the burner, and
unless
then
you want to go out, because quarantine's over for everybody else. So fuck it.
Yeah. So the spikes are going on for those who don't know. There are spikes in 29 states. I talked about that at work today. I said I don't think we're going back to work this year.
we got pushed back till October.
To October, just make that joint January 1. Like,
yeah, I mean, they will. They said we'll reevaluate in September. I'm like, yeah.
So you already locked in for October.
Oh, yeah.
That's lit.
Yeah.
That's lit.